Good day, everybody. Today, this quick overview will be about Kantech KT1 and KT-1-PCB controller. In my screen right now, we have both versions of that controller called KT1. On the left, we have the KT1, we could say KT1 regular, and on the right, we have that same KT1 but with a additional PCB board. That's why it's called KT-1-PCB. At power level, electrically, the KT-1 can be powered direct 12 volt DC, 2.2 ampere. That can be PoE, that can be PoE plus. The reader, regular 12 volt DC to power your reader. The lock output will have 12 volt DC availability and go up to 750 milliamp. At power level, electrically, the KT1 can be powered direct 12 volt DC, 2.2 ampere. That can be PoE, that can be PoE plus. The reader, regular 12 volt DC to power your reader. The lock output will have 12 volt DC availability and go up to 750 milliamp. Let's start with the KT1, the regular one. As you can see in my screen, we split the controller. We have the cover, then we have the controller itself, and we have the backplate, which is gonna go in the wall with a small accessories where you can connect all your wiring. Here we have the same view, but the accessories is back to the plate. That plate can be installed in a wall directly on a single gang box, for example. And we could go with a better view of that. Okay, so here the accessories on the back of that. Of course, you have the network port where you connect your network cable. You also have the RS-485 communication that can be used for direct communication using, for example, USB 485, or that can be used to manage other controller in the loop. We have COM1 and COM2. In that case, it's the same than a KT400. We're using COM1. The COM2, we have it there for future use. So let's go in detail. So you have the power input, 12 volt DC, 1.5 amp. You have your entry reader, and you also have an exit reader. Yes, that controller is a one-door controller. No matter what type is that door, reader, button, reader, read in, read out, these can do all the situation. And you have on the board itself, on that accessories board, you have 4 input available. Your door contact, your exit button or X. You also have 2 other input. But in total, you have 5 input because that controller has a touch on the one button on the front of it that can also be used as an input. You have your lock output. Yes, we see lock 2, lock 1. This is one door, but sometimes that happen. You have a door, it has a mag lock and also an electrical strike. So this controller can do both. Still for one door. And you have 2 relay. On the KT1 regular, relay 1 and relay 2, those are open collector, which means to use them, you will need to add a relay like our relay, the KT1, the KT-1, for example. Of course, you have power output if you need to power accessories. For example, if you connect a wax, the wax gonna need power. Motion detector, that's gonna need power. So you have output available there. Okay, and here of that accessories, and you have that plate. These will fit on the plate. Okay, so this is a one-door controller, and that version, the regular KT1, can be installed directly on a wall. For example, on my screen here, we have a practical example of that. Now, for you, remember the KT100. Remember, we used to like to do that type of installation. The controller, bring the controller closer to the door, and that reduce the case. On that case of the KT1, it's way, way better. Let's just think we power that over the internet, PoE or PoE plus. So you just have your network cable going to the controller. We have the controller and the secure part of the door. And as you can see, you have your door contact, your wax, your door strap with the KT-1-PCB. So let's have a live view of that KT1. So here I have that KT1 where I'm removing the cover. I am about to remove the controller itself. Remember, this part is the controller. And I have the back plate that can be installed in a single GAN box, and we have it for easy installation. You have the back plate and you have the accessories where you connect all your wiring. So you install the back plate, and then you have all your wire going through that hole connected, and then you just mount your plate in the wall or in the GAN box, electrical GAN box. And I mean, you're doing a regular installation. Then you can put everything back together like we're doing here. All right, the controller is back to the plate, and then normally we'll be using that because the controller has a reset button on the front where you can do everything. This is the easiest controller um, to use. Your reset is very easy. You just press the button and press 2 times, 3 times, depending on what type of reset you want to do. And after you have all the controller program correctly, and you put your cover back. That's it. And then this is the KT1. Here it's the regular KT1. Now we're going to switch to the KT-1-PCB. So we can also have a very good idea about that KT-1-PCB. For now, we're looking at the KT1, back, front, sideways. All right. Okay. Now let's get back to the presentation. Here we're starting with the KT-1-PCB. Remember, this is the same controller with a different backboard. The PCB board, the back of it is different. As you can see in my screen in here, let's see closer. Here, the cover, the controller, and the PCB board. These controller in this model of the KT1 require a cabinet because these definitely you cannot install that out on a wall like that because you will have all your wire exposed. A closer look on that PCB board. So I managed to have both sides for you. So as you can see, you have everything: communication, relay, where to connect your wax, and on the other side you have the alimentation, entry reader, exit reader, lock. Additionally, the PCB board has a couple of things more than the regular KT1. Of course, they both got the network port. You can go PoE, PoE plus, and just bring it on the network and use local power supply. But additionally, that PCB board has another component. It's a RS-232 port that can help you. That's be used for intrusion integration. Oh yes. So that KT-1-PCB allow you to connect your DSC panel, simplex panel, Bentel directly to the board. It's the same as a KT-400. You just get your adapter, get your serial connection, and click. You're good to go. Also, that PCB has wheel relay. So those are not like the other one who's open collector. The PCB has normal relay. You just have to normally close, normally open, and you comment the way you need it. You don't need anything. The relay or dry contact ready to go. All right. So here to power other, not power to manage other controller on the loop, and that can be any other controller, 300, 315, 400, any other controller, up to 31 controller. A Kantech loop can have 32 controller. So these first one will be number one, and you can. So we have the board. So we have the PCB board. Yes. And then all we have to do here is to, of course, install it in the cabinet, and you can mount everything together, which means adding the controller. The controller is the same. KT1 and KT-1-PCB, that's the same KT1. Like we said before, that's the board itself, the backboard, which is different. In that KT1, we have a PCB board, and that's why it's called KT-1-PCB. So we install the controller, and then all we'll have left is the cover. So we have the cover, and we have the KT-1-PCB ready to go. All right, KT-1-PCB. So we install the controller, and then all we'll have left is the cover. So we have the cover, and we have the KT-1-PCB ready to go. All right, so here is the KT-1-PCB. Now, as for installation, everything is the same. We can use direct connection. For example, in my screen here, you have a USB 485 going from the EntraPass to manage your communication to your loop of KT1. So that can be done also. Or the KT1 has its own network port, so we could go over the network directly. In that situation we have in my screen here, you have multiple loop, about 3 loop. You have a first one, when you see a KT1 as a master controller, and you can manage other controller up to 31 more, because in that case KT1 will be the first one. So 1 plus 31, that will be 32 controller in that loop. We have another example, KT1 as a master controller, and we have KT1 as a master controller, and we have other KT1 in that same loop in daisy chain RS-485. And another example, we have a KT1 as master controller managing other controller. And remember, any other controller that can be KT-100, 300, 400, we can have multiple different type of controller in the same loop. So we're hoping this video help you to get a better understanding on the KT1. As for the reset, as we said before, there is no easiest way. This controller comes with one reset button, and all you get to do is to, depending on what you want to do, press and hold 3 seconds to put it on programming mode, hit 3 times to put it factory